Hello, everyone. I'm Anthony Gallegos, here with Jared Garrettson, creative studio head at Zombie Studios.
Hello.
And we are checking out Daylight, an alpha version of
Alpha
Daylight.
version,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
I mean, I know that the game isn't coming out.
What we showed at PAX.
Right. So, what is Daylight for people that know nothing about it?
Daylight is a procedurally generated horror game, a survival horror game, and the interesting thing about it is the first Unreal 4 game. And every time you play, so your experience right now will be completely different than anyone else's experience.
So I think that that's one of the things that maybe people don't realize, that like what the difference between Unreal 3 and 4 is like the fact that it can procedurally generate. Like that's like something that wasn't even possible before.
Yeah. So we used what are called blueprints, and you're getting some issues, but with blueprints, it actually procedurally populates the world. And then what we've made is another system that actually stitches all of the rooms and all of the hallways together. So that actually is the thing that's procedurally making the path. And what we haven't been able to do with Unreal 3 to 4 is we haven't been able to do this because each time you change a level in Unreal 3, you have to actually build lighting. So all of the lighting is going to be completely dynamic. And it's going to be, it's the reason why we're able to make all of these different areas.
For you guys, like, what is it that, like, you guys really, oh, hold on, sorry. I've never played this before, so, for you guys, what is it that you guys really wanted to, like, do with a horror game in particular?
Well, it's kind of a funny thing where we had Unreal 4, and we have had some devs, and we've been messing around with Unreal 4 for quite a while, that it allowed us to really understand the strengths and weaknesses at its current state. Like right now, it's going to be the first game, so there's a lot of things that haven't been done or are coming fairly soon. So each time we get a new build from Epic, it's kind of like Christmas. We get new systems or new lighting or new X, Y, or Z. And so what we did was, just YouTube's such a phenomenon. We really wanted to make a game that, even if you saw it on YouTube, the experience that you're going to be experiencing is completely different.
Yeah, and I think that that's one of the things that it sounds kind of cool about Daylight is that you guys didn't want to make it like this 10-hour long thing. You wanted it to be something that you and I could do.
Yeah.
We could talk about afterwards, and we might have experienced something like...
What was that sound?
Sorry. Actually, one thing I really appreciate is that you guys have the character talk. I think that's really important. Like, when I played something like Amnesia, I loved that when the character got scared, they started breathing heavy because then it made me like really intense. Like on horror games, a lot of times you have a character that might as well just have nerves of steel. Like they're never affected.
Exactly, and that's kind of the thing that we did was. Some of the devs worked on Fear, including myself. We worked on Fear and was part of shipping out Condemned. And a lot of things that we learned from that was a lot of looking at horror movies, but also paying attention to what scares us as well. And the reason why we made the character actually talk and be scared was because if you watch a horror movie and the actor or actress isn't reacting to anything, even with all the spooky music, you really don't get scared. So that's really what we wanted to do, was allow the character to kind of startle the player. Because really, if you don't like horror games, you're probably not going to buy a horror game. So if you are into horror, you're going to get into it, and we want to make that horror, that horrific experience, really the best it could possibly be.
So what is kind of the, is there sort of a narrative to Daylight, or is it?
Right, so each time you play, or as you play, you find different items, and this being the PAX build, we didn't put any of the story elements because we didn't want to ruin pieces or have people already start to talk about, the story elements. So what we did is, with it, will be your phone occasionally gets possessed, and will give you story bits and pieces, as well as you'll find different documents, you'll find different notes or different story elements in the world, and each time you play, you'll get them out of order, and it's up to the player to kind of draw their own conclusions and try to figure out not only what's going on and how you've got there, but also who it is that's haunting you, as well as who you are.
So are there pre-made rooms in this, and then it kind of puts them together, or is it really just like...
We make a shell, literally walls and ceiling and floor, and then we make about X number of variants of the population in the room, and then we cut that up numerous times, and then we bring that back together, and then we give it to the engine to literally populate. So you come into this room, it's going to be completely different than the other one.
So it seems like horror games are. Oh, hold on. Sorry.
Yeah. So this is part of the gameplay. Is these there are certain doors that are actually psychically or possessed that you need to now go and find the key that will allow you to get through and move forward.
I will admit it is a little easier playing a horror game when you're sitting with
someone talking in your ear.
Well,
and that's the thing though is you know, I think Fear was one of the first games that gave you kind of unlimited ammo, and what happened with the horror genre was, you know, it's like Resident Evil 1 or Silent Hill. If you had a machine gun, how really scary would that be?
Right.
So
you felt really empowered.
Yeah, yeah. And with this, we literally have put the teeth back in to the horror genre, I feel. But also, I mean, it's one of those things where we want players to get excited or get startled and feel like they are in danger.
Oh my God, chem lights are my best friend. Yeah, I'm actually I'm really afraid of the dark in real life, so it's actually really nice.
Working on this game definitely did not help my or the developers' reactions to dark or even getting startled quite easily. It's been pretty funny.
So what's kind of the plan for Daylight, you know, between now and, you know, I guess when people will be able to, like, you know, try it for themselves outside of conventions and all that?
Right now, since we got a lot of amazing feedback from PAX, and really it was one of those things where when we started working, or when we started talking about bringing Daylight to PAX, I kind of didn't want to do it, because having someone play a game in a brightly lit room with thousands of people walking by and all these noise, and just it didn't seem scary.
Right.
And so we got an offer from our buddies over at Astro, and it was one of those things where it's like, okay, you know what, let's do it. Let's see what happens. We put it on the two kiosks, and it was really funny because it was if it were Indie the Movie Part 2, this would be where I'd be, you know, just freaking out and being, you know, deathly afraid of what was going to happen. And the first time that someone came up and played it, and they jumped in a brightly lit room, it was really, really cool. And it kind of it's really solidified what's going on with the game and how scary it can be.
I was going to say, it sounded like, from what I heard from some of the people I talked to at PAX. Oh, sorry. Shit. I wasn't ready for that. From some of the people I talked to at PAX, it sounded like there was actually people that had to, like, just walk away.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
And that's really cool, right? For a brightly lit sort of.
Yeah, and it's really cool because, I mean, this is different. I mean, you have the game industry where genres are really defined by one game. I mean, we're experiencing that with Blacklight. Like, really, we're going up against the big boys. And with this, there's a lot of really cool,
all right,
really cool games that are of the same vein, but because they're so different and because people are, or they're so bite-sized. You want to get that right there. Let's see. There we go. Now that is the key
to unlock that psychic door.
Exactly.
That I found previously.
It's really cool. Like, I'm really excited for Slender and Amnesia and Outlast and, you know, all of these other horror games that are really just that really cool experience, but that horror experience. What was that?
I don't know. I heard a large thumping. Sometimes, so one of these things that these games make me really afraid of is I actually really hate the idea of turning around. So a lot of times, like, even if I hear something horrible, I'll be like, I'm just going to keep moving.
That's
I think that one of the things that's really smart that you guys have done is kind of making it to where you're not. Don't like that. Oh, Jesus Christ! Oh, shit. Okay,
now you need to run. Now you just need to run.
Oh, God. No. I was not expecting. Okay, well, that's kind of a good taste of Daylight. Yeah, I wasn't ready for that. So, but I think that's good, right? You know, you guys. Sorry, I know that you're staring at a black screen, but the thing is that what I liked about that was that you guys built up this tension where there's no enemies, no enemies, no enemies, no enemies. That sometimes it's the fear of what might be there that makes when something comes even way worse.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a quick look at the alpha build of Daylight later this year.
Yeah.
Cool. For a lot more on Daylight in the coming months, you can go to IGN.